I want to beat this into you till you all get it. There's still non-believers out there right now that's watching this anime review of Space Dandy. They once again might as well have just laid out the entire plot and my theories on a silver platter in this episode. I mean, I have been guessing since the very beginning multiple different equations and theories I've been bringing up about how Space Dandy most likely has a very deep and dark plot hiding underneath the just episodic mess of craziness Space Dandy usually gives us. The actual plot in this episode, it was out there. If you look at this episode as an episodic type episode, you're gonna think like, what the hell did I just watch? You'll literally be thinking that. I mean, it was a really good episode, and the artistic style of it was so different. It was so gritty. It kind of reminded me of a game called Limbo on the Xbox 360, and that's the entire art style look it did. The shading was beautiful in this episode. But let's get on back topic of my theories, because this is something I really want to focus on in this episode review. Okay, so pretty much as I've been saying is most likely Dandy has been dying and resetting in time, dimension, and space, going back in time and just repeating his life over and over. Because as we all remember, last episode, the narrator let slip that Dandy, even though he's not going through a time repeat or time loop, he's still going through a time loop. So right there, the narrator might as well have told us that Dandy is repeating his life over and over. Okay, there's one hint. Then we have the first episode that brings up Pionium, okay? Pionium, as we all know, is at the time when Danny was in that space dimension where he pulled the plug and time and space distorted, like QT said, and so that's when we started noticing these crazy things going on with time and space. They centered last episode all on just time, constantly resetting. Okay, I know that episode, if people look at it at a different standpoint, they'll think they were just trying to make an episodic episode that goes along with the time going forward in Americans' terms. So, really, there's a lot of actual hidden elements in the series Space Dandy really does. Now, you all may think I'm going way too far deep into this series, but I actually see the downright amazing plot Dandy is really doing. Because of the way we get to see this episode figured around Dr. Jill, trying to actually figure out the equation to Pionium, what makes Dandy so powerful. And when we see Dr. Jill finally figure out the equation, even though it was freaking hilarious how he figured it out, he was writing on every freaking place in his entire spaceship, and somehow when he was writing it on the actual monitor screen, Dandy's boobs he drew on the piece of paper, bookmarked, managed to finish off his equation, which is freaking hilarious. That's comedy gold right there. But looking past the comedy moment of that, he pretty much states this. This is one line Dr. Jill says that proves my theories are most likely correct. He says, "Now I understand why Dandy is so powerful. Now I know why he's so strong. And if anyone was to try to get this and attain this power, it would mean utter death." So, Dandy has a power that he probably doesn't even realize. Now, this theorizes the different time and space dimension warping, how he constantly, when he dies, that it gets reset and he forgets everything. Like, this episode focused on memory loss. Last episode focused on time. So, if we put in these two key factors, we're starting to see how the plot is really just being laid on the table. So, now, let's get into the other factor of this episode. The episode actually focused on a book, an alien life form that was a book that obtained information from humans, and it was a parasitic book that just stole the thoughts from people. So, as soon as Dr. Jill found out about all the information about Danny, he finished the equation, everything was handled, the book stole all that knowledge from him. And so Dr. Jill most likely doesn't remember what the hell was going on. He doesn't remember the formula. He doesn't remember nothing. And so really a lot of people look at this episode as just like, what did I just watch? But I just wanted to reveal all this to you if you did not really see that underlying plot. I really enjoy Space Dandy. This is my type of series. When I can bring up theories like this on a comedy gag anime, that's badass. Come on. When do you see a comedy gag anime like Space Dandy have a deep plot? Okay, let's look at examples. Like Norin, for instance. I mean, that has no plot. But this is truly amazing. I really love Space Dandy, and I love the episode. So let's get on to the factors of, I guess, the art style. The art style of this episode, really at first it was offsetting. At first I was like, what the hell, is there something wrong with my computer screen? I thought, literally, something was wrong with my computer. So I minimized my actual episode, and I looked at my screen thinking everything is okay or wrong with it, and it was fine. I was like, okay, the episode's just like fucked up. I mean, the animation on the friggin' Dr. Jill's, like, Statue of Liberty gag ball ship seemed to be just distorted. It was weird animation. The animation was just so weird. It wasn't like it was bad animation, but at times it was, and times it really suited the feel of the episode. I know Space Dandy changes the animation a lot, and I feel like the animation in this episode at the same time is pretty offsetting for a lot of watchers, but it was really entertaining to see how they managed to draw something so beautiful with just black and white shading. And that brings my point back up to Limbo, how Limbo was such a good game just because of the way the shading was. Anyways, this is going to be the end of my anime review of Space Dandy this week. Tell me your thoughts on this. Did you enjoy my theories? What do you think about Space Dandy's comedy gag anime? You think this is a really great series? Do you think it has a dark meaning underneath all the comedy? Anyways, everybody, have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please stay safe. Chibi out.